Recording. Okay. 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 So if you have already joined, hello. And if you have not joined yet, but you end up watching this recording, then welcome to all of you once you do join. And there's Carrie. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Carrie. Okay, so we're gonna get started. So just start joining when you are ready. I am recording this, so I will send the recording to you. But let's start with some breath work. I know that the past couple of weeks, people have had increased levels of, allergy responses to everything, and some people have some colds. There's a lot of respiratory stuff going on. So let's just take some time and connect to our breath first off, right? One hand on the lower abdomen, one hand on the chest. Right? And let's just start by slowing the breath down so that we can take a nice, full, deep breath, if that's accessible to you right now, or just take as much air in as you can. And then a nice, slow exhale. And then continuing at your own pace. Throughout this class, since we'll do a little bit more focus on the lung and large intestine organs and channels, which correlate to the metal element, the use of color, like imagery, is very tonifying and healing. And the color of the metal element is a bright white light. You can just imagine as you're going through the flows, especially the latter half of the class, just think about this bright light that's getting absorbed into this area and spreading out and creating a healing resonance into the lung tissue. I'm just going to continue to talk just for a minute. This is more about chi health in the late fall into early winter. Because the lung tissue, in Chinese medicine at least, the lung is called the delicate organ, because it's susceptible, right? Especially to phlegm. So as they say in Eastern Asian medicine and TCM, that the digestive system, in particular the spleen, is the root of where our internal phlegm is produced. Just think of like inflammatory foods that we eat, kind of creating this mucus internally, and that the lungs are the receptacle of that phlegm. So the best thing that we can do in this time of year is making sure that we're eating things that are cooked. So avoiding raw foods in this time of year gives our digestive system, takes the burden off of the digestive system, having to literally cook up the food in order to break it down. So foods that are already cooked, like soups and stews, even if you have these lovely apples and pears that are in season now, having them cooked, so stewed or poached, is really good because you're helping to facilitate breaking down, right, of that food so that your body has less to do. And then, ergo, you're keeping this cauldron nice and warm. There's that less susceptibility to producing that mucus internally that the lungs are so susceptible to. So nourishing warm foods, keeping the body warm, doing some QiGong, doing breath work is all really good to help, as much as we can, prevent an accumulation of phlegm in this area. With that note, let's continue on to spinal cord breathing. So let's inhale and look up, opening up this whole area. And then to exhale, tucking the tailbone down, curling the spine forward on the exhale. So inhale and exhale. When I say, avoiding cold and raw foods, that kind of makes sense too. This time of year, the vegetables that we've been growing throughout the summer, when we have more heat, right, our ability to tolerate cold foods is much greater in the summertime. And in the winter, when things there's not a lot of growth, right, except for the root vegetables. So it makes sense that we want to use things and take things in that have already been harvested and maybe canned, cooked, and stored, right? So eating more in alignment with the season, especially in the Northeast, is sort of pulling back a little bit on those things that are cold nature to begin with, which are raw foods, foods that are refrigerated, that are uncooked, and really focusing on warming that entire digestive system using herbs that are warming: cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, ginger. And then exercises like this that help to generate a good flow of qi through the lungs, through the large intestine, through the spleen, through the stomach. And let's take one more inhale, then let the arms drop down. So before we go into knocking on the door of life, we're going to go into a segue. We'll segue into it from another exercise. We're going to cactus our arms, and then you're going to turn to the left. And as we do, you come to the ball of the foot of your right foot as you twist and turn and look over that left shoulder. And then unwind, come back to the center, and then come to the ball of your left foot as you turn and rotate over to the right. So we're getting a rotation in the spine, but as we turn and rotate, you can also see how we're getting a stretch through the entire lung meridian and the large intestine meridian. And actually through the rib cage as well, the liver and gallbladder channels. So this is really great as a way to open the spine, but also start to generate some good energy and blood flow through the thoracic area, the lungs, the heart. You can go slow and really dial into and put your attention on an awareness on the spine. Or you can go a little bit faster if you feel like you need to just generate a little bit more heat. And as you turn, just really focus also on like coming to that max rotation that feels comfortable, looking over your shoulder so you're getting a stretch all the way through the neck and the top of the spine. And then from here, come to the center and we'll go right into knocking on the door of life. So hello everyone. If you joined after I gave the little prelude here, we'll focus a little bit more on the lung, the large intestine channels, which are the metal element, the element of fall. Maybe helping to kind of if you've been feeling a little bit under the weather or allergies have been plaguing you, helping to generate some healing energy to kind of get over that hump, or you just need some good energy throughout this entire area in general. I am historically susceptible to bronchitis, although I have not had bronchitis, let's knock on wood right now, in probably 10 years, but I used to get it all the time. So to be very careful of keeping my lungs open and reducing phlegm building foods. Come up to the lung area. By the way, pears are really good for the lungs. If you did not already know that. So poached pears this time of year with a little cinnamon and maybe a tiny drizzle of local honey. Fantastic for strengthening the lungs, warming the lungs. Come up to the top of the shoulders. And then come back down. Even better if you drizzle the poached pears with some roasted and then crushed walnuts, which are really great for the brain, and having some a good quality fat along with something that's a little more sweet, carbohydrate is really a good pairing. So then you slow the rate at which our blood sugar levels go up, and then down to the waist. And let's unwind. Okay, what do we have in store for us right now? Let's go to a wide leg, and we're going to do some swimming dragon. It's chilly here, so I want to generate some heat. And then again, moving energy through the rib cage and the lung and large intestine. So we're going to come to a nice gentle squat, and whatever feels good for you. If you want to go deeper or come out of it a little bit, your legs can be a little bit more narrow or wider. And bring the palms together at the center of the chest. And I'm going to shift the weight over to your left. And as you do, as a reminder, the hands come across over to the left. And then you turn and look in the opposite direction. So that front elbow is almost straight, or as straight as you can make it, right? And then we turn in the opposite direction. So we get energy and a twist throughout the upper spine. And then we come back to the center, sinking down. And then the weight shifts now over to the right foot as the arms come across to the right. And then you turn and look left. And then inhale to the center. So whatever side our weight is shifted to, the arms come across in that same direction as you turn and look in the opposite. So there's this, we're moving in two different directions here, right? The body and the arms come across to one side as we turn and look in the opposite. So it's really a great exercise to build strength and helps to increase our ability to be resilient. And then we're moving energy through the rib cage. You can go slow, or you can go a little bit more quickly. And then just remember, the hands come across. There's not a lot of up and down. It's more coming laterally across. And then getting those big muscles of the legs are getting a nice gentle workout as well. And then come to the center, straighten the legs. And then let's go heart to the sky. And then sink the chest in on the exhale. And again, inhaling and exhale. And again, let's do that one more time. So bending the legs. This time I'm going to shift the weight over to the right, turn and look left. Inhale to the center, and then shifting over to the left, turning and looking right. This is also a great way to generate a little more flexibility through the hips. You're getting a combination of benefits here. Gentle stretching, strengthening, building resiliency. Stretching the lines through the upper torso and the neck. And then come to the center. You can straighten the knees again. Inhale and look up. And then exhale. And inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Now let's grab one wrist and stretch way up. Think about sinking down through the soles of your feet as you stretch the palms up towards the universe. So two different directions that we're focusing on simultaneously. And then nice inhale, and on the exhale, keeping your knees bent, let's come forward. If you don't feel like having your head below your heart today for whatever reason, even having your knees on your thighs will give a little gentle stretch to the lower back. Otherwise, keeping your knees bent, you can bring your palms to the earth. Just let your head sink towards the earth. A little traction on your spine. And then opening the back of the legs. Let's walk our hands over to the left ankle. And then take one hand, rest it on the back of your knee, and start generating some circles. That will start to open up the bladder channel, which is down the back of the legs. A lot of acupressure points right behind the knee. And then you can start just generating some heat by rubbing the back of the leg, the hamstring up and down. All right, this will help generate some heat, increase blood flow, and then come to the calf and do the same thing. And then we'll knock from the top of the hamstring, down the hamstring, back of the knee, back of the calf, down to the foot, and do it a couple of times. And then release. Let's come to the center. A nice inhale, and then exhale, walk your hands over to the right ankle. And again, we'll start by making circles in the back of the knee. And then we can start from the top of the hamstring, just creating some heat by rubbing from the top of the hamstring down towards the back of the knee and then down the calf. And then knocking from the top of the hamstring down to the back of the knee, and then down the calf to the ankle a couple of times. And then let's come to the center, and very slowly, you can even bring your hands to your thighs, keeping your head below the heart. Unroll, stacking the vertebrae one at a time so that your head very gently comes up last. Doing that slowly can also prevent that head rush that sometimes happens when you stand up too quickly. So rolling and then slowly letting the head come up can usually help negate that. Okay, let's bring the feet closer together, shake everything out. And let's just do a gentle stretch first before we go into our flows. So let's do a little bit of chi massage first, and then we'll spread the feathers. Let's start at the center of the chest. Just start knocking up and down the sternum. And then let's come over to the front of the right shoulder. Might be a little tender. If you've been sick or something's going on, allergies, whatnot, this area might be a little extra tender. So just think about each love taps. Let's call these love taps, right? Gentle taps, just helping to generate energy so that our lungs are able to expand and contract, right? Bringing in good quality air and releasing what we need to get rid of. And now let's travel down the inner arm, down into the palms and fingers, and then coming up the outside of the arm. And then let's come across the opposite shoulder. And then let's come down the inner arm to the fingertips, and then up the outside. And then let's come back to the center of the chest for a moment. And actually, let's do a little bit of acupressure here. Let's take the index and middle finger of your left hand and feel your collarbone, right on your right side. So you start from the middle of your sternum, and then walk across your collarbone until you feel like there's going to be a little knobby thing right here, and then just bring your fingers right below that. It might sink into a little divot right at that point, and then just a little below that are 2 points called lung 1 and lung 2. This is really great to massage. It might be a little tender, so use your own discernment and how light or how deep you want that to be, but it's really fantastic to open up the lungs, bring the energy. It's nourishing, it's tonifying. It also muscularly, right? It might be just tender because you've been working out or something, or lifting something. So this is really great just to release the pecs. So you can do this for a minute or two in the morning, or right before you go to bed. And then let's do the opposite side. Again, just find that collarbone, work your way laterally towards the shoulder. You might find the acromion is basically this little knobby thing. And then you bring your fingers just under that little groove. Yeah. This is a great meditation to do with that imagery of white light that I was talking about at the beginning of class. Just imagining that as you're inhaling, this bright white light is coming and nourishing this entire area, bringing healthy energy into your lungs. Okay, and now let's bring our hands to the lower abdomen. We'll continue our journey down. And then bring our hands around to the lower back. And then let's travel down the back of the hamstring, or the hamstring is the back of the legs. Hamstrings are always in back. Down on the calves, down to the feet, and then come up the inner thighs, right into the hip crease. Let's do that 2 more times. Down the back of the legs, and then up the inner aspect, and then 1 more time. And let's take a moment here, right at the hip flexors, the hip crease can bend and straighten. A little pumping action. And then exhale and release. And then let's shake everything out. I'm going to skip spreading the feathers because we are already at quarter of, and I want to make sure we get to the 3 flows. So let's just shake everything out before we go into them. And one last nice exhalation. Okay, we are ready. So the first flow, which is new for us, is called Plucking a Star from the Universe, which is really great for the lungs. It's good for the large intestine. So we will start with one hand facing the universe, one hand facing the earth. So let's do our left hand facing up, right hand facing down. So we're connecting, hopefully you can see me, to the space below us, the space above us. You can close your eyes for a moment if that helps. Just imagine this beautiful starlit sky above us. Right? And that star light energy starts to seep into that palm of your top hand. And then if you open your eyes and watch me, just like you're pulling that starlight down, you're going to bring that top hand to the back of your neck. You're cradling your head. And then the hand that's facing the earth comes to your lower back. So your lower hand is facing out and you're cradling your neck with that top hand. Okay, like you're bringing that energy down into the top of your spine and letting it flow down to the bottom of your spine. Now take a nice inhale and we're going to rotate. So when we rotate, we're rotating to the side where your lower arm is. So take a nice inhale and we're going to rotate slowly over to the left. Excuse me, to the right, your right. Right? Nice gentle stretch. And that top hand that's on cradling your head, just gently use that as a way of getting into the rotation just a little bit deeper. And then slowly unwind. And we're going to continue to unwind so that top hand comes back up and that lower arm comes back down. Now we're going to bring those arms to shoulder level. Okay. Now we're going to turn slightly over to the left. And as we do, right, that right arm comes across. We're going to make a little circle. And now your right arm is facing up and left is facing down. See what we just did? So now the opposite hands are facing the earth and facing the universe. Again, imagine that you're pulling down that starlight energy. So the lung and large intestine channels, right? The lung ends at the thumb and the large intestine channel begins at that index finger. So stretch those lines. You can imagine that it's like extending that pointer finger just a little bit further away from the hands. And then we're going to inhale and bring that top hand to the back of the neck, that lower hand to your lower spine. And then you're going to gently turn and rotate now over to the left. And then unwind, continuing to unwind. So the hands are now extended again. I'm going to inhale. The arms are now level, turning over to the right. And that left hand comes in a circle. And as we come back to the center now, the right arm is up. I'm so sorry. I'm having problems with my left and rights today. Your left is up now and your right is down. Connect. It's not always easy trying to do mirroring and then remembering that what's your right and my right. And then let's bring again that top hand to the back of the neck, bottom hand to the lower spine, and then rotating now over to the right. And then unwind, reconnect up and below. Bring the arm shoulder height. Turning over to the left. Right arm up, left arm down. Top hand to the neck, lumbar, and then turning over to the left. Inhale, center, rotate over to the right, connect, connecting to the neck and the lower lumbar. This is also right here. It's almost like, imagine if you're a warrior and you're carrying your swords in your back. It's that metal element, right? We're helping to fortify our strength, that clear metal energy. Metal energy is the lung and large intestine channel again. Turn over to the left. Right arm up, left arm down, connect that starlight energy, that pristine energy, bringing it into the protective stance, turning over, looking over the shoulder, unwind. Let's do this one more time. Oops, sorry. Shoulder height, turning over to the right, left up, right down. And then one more time, we're going to turn over, looking over the right. And then now let's bring both arms up and then let them sink all the way down. And let's pause here in the lower embrace the tree position. Thinking about that bright white light and the spiral movement through the lungs, through the large intestine, creating this healing vortex of bright white light that's swirling, generating healing. And now we're going to turn and rotate over to the left. You're going to inhale, the hands come rising up to just above the crown of the head. The back of the fingers come together, come to the center, and then exhale all the way back down. Bringing the hands back into that posture. Now turning over to the right, and then inhale. Bringing the hands just above the crown of the head, then come face forward, and then exhale. And sink down as we exhale. And then we turn again over to the left. So this is tree sways in the wind. Right? Thinking about the roots, right? The bottom of the tree that's really connected down. And then as the tree grows, it grows upward, right? And then it blooms and spreads itself out. So this is a really great flow for the wood element. The liver and gallbladder channels run up the inner and outer aspect of the legs. The gallbladder channel comes up the outside of the rib cage, and the liver is more on the inside. So we're tracing those lines. The liver has an extended internal connection to the crown of the head. And then imagine that that energy is spreading out and down. The liver is also connected to the eyes. You can think of that as, our actual vision. The liver blood in Chinese medicine is what nourishes the eyes. So thinking about quite literally our vision and eyes, but also that inner vision, creativity. So helping to nourish that aspect of who we are, our creative force. The inhale as we rise up, bringing the hands all the way up, and then we come to the center and then exhale. Inhaling, even having a pause, the very top of the inhale. So inhaling, and then there's a stillness in the breath, and then we exhale. One more inhale. Now let's exhale back down to that standing posture just for a moment. And then our final flow is centric to the earth element and helping that digestive fire. So your hands are going to stay down. Just think of them be nice and loosey-goosey. And the movement comes from the waist, as always, right? So you're going to turn the waist, your hips slightly. So you're turning over to the left. And as we do, almost like you're rolling out a blanket or a beach towel, your arms will float out and then swing your hips around and over. And as we do, the arms come around in a circle to the opposite side. And then you're going to inhale back to the center so that your palms end up facing your lower abdomen. So again, we rotate over to the left, the arms float out, and then we make a big circle with the hips coming to the opposite side and then inhaling back to the center. So if I wasn't moving my arms at all, this is what it would look like. So the arms are really just an extension of the body. They just sort of float out, almost like you're doing a little bit like the hula dance, right? So we're just unwinding, circling around, and then inhaling back in towards the earth area, our spleen and stomach. So we're just gathering and then drawing in. Just think about squirrels. I don't know if you've seen all the squirrels and chipmunks that are in the feeding frenzy or gathering all of the acorns right now, right? They're gathering and then they're storing for the winter. So we're generating a little bit of swirly, rotating energy and then inhaling and then nourishing this whole digestive center. And we're moving from the hips and the waist. And then let's come to the center, pause. We need to go in the opposite direction now. This time we're going to turn over to the right. The arms float out, come around, and then inhale back to the center. Right, and the breath is we exhale, and then we start to inhale as we're gathering it back in towards the center. We've got swirling a pot. You have all the ingredients, right, at our disposal. We're just being our own alchemists of our own energy. What kinds of ingredients do we want to put into our little cauldron and then swirl and mix it and then store it, cook it and store it? What kind of energy do you want to bring in and store? And let's do one more. Let's come to the center. Let's bring the feet together and we'll go one more final flow of centering. So we'll take the right arm and inhale it out to the side, coming straight above the head, and then exhale down to the center. Right, and now the left arm, inhale up, and then exhale. Inhale. One more time to each side. And then let's bring both hands below the abdomen. Just make a couple of circles here as we take a few rounds of meditative breath, inhale and exhale. And then when you are ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Keep moving, keep breathing, keep stretching.
That felt really good.
Great. I'm so happy. These points can be really helpful, right? If you're even just doing a gentle knocking, even so, imagining on the exhale that you're exhaling out sort of like a gunky cloud is really a good meditation. And then inhaling and breathing in that white light is really a powerful meditation for the whole respiratory area.
And by the way, it's Squirrel
All right.
Appreciation Month.
Is it okay? Well, there you go. We have plenty of those around here. So, and Willie agrees. I hope you all have a good weekend. And next weekend, I meant actually, nope, next week will work. I'm going up to Massachusetts for a wedding, but I will already be up there Thursday. So I will be from a different location, but I'll be able to do this. So next week is still on. Okay. From Massachusetts. So have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week.